Hello and welcome to Chopped Greens. I'm your host, Philip Amrine, sitting alongside...
Gary Boucher, thank you for having me on your show and not kicking me off yet.
As always, well, you're not the one who's close on the edge. Luke is.
That's true.
We have the longest running tease in the business. A week ago, we said, will Luke return? And it has already been a week and we don't know.
Yeah, so, he's ghosting us. He's gone. He's been off the face of the earth lately, so... Speaking
of ghosting... Yes, it clued in. I knew the segue was there. Thank God. You. You wiggled. You did a little
better than last week's. I forget what last week's.
Last week's was gosh darn awful. But you teed me up. You put the ball on the tee, and I just.
Dang, 400-yarder right there.
400-yarder. All right. Speaking of ghosts, rather, dead men tell no tales.
Is that why Luke hasn't been talking to us?
Because he's the dead man walking. Yeah. Yes, he is in third place in the bet standings, which, coming this Thursday or tomorrow, depending on when you listen to this podcast.
The 1st of June.
We will have all the bet part 2 post game 1 reactions.
Yes.
And we are excited to see what Luke finally has to say for himself in direct retaliation for losing the bet automatically. We are now trying to find out which one of us, between you and me, Gary, will be the winner.
We're really just juggling which punishment we're gonna do. I'm excited for both of them, but I'd really like to see him get waxed, of course. But
we'll keep this between us and the listeners.
Yeah.
But we will ask him on the bet podcast, and we will see which he prefers. We won't tell him which one we're doing, either one of us. No. So there we go. But let's talk about Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Men Tell No Tales.
In parentheses, should not have been made. We should have stopped 4 movies ago.
Dead franchises tell no
tales.
So Pirates of the Caribbean opens up, and we've got a whole bunch to discuss. First off, even though it had a record low for Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't know if that's exactly fair. I don't know when we all of a sudden became this percentage of Rotten Tomatoes. It's
interesting to see as a whole what the professional critics have bestowed upon it.
It's funny when we see commercials now and it says Rotten Tomatoes certified fresh.
Yeah,
that's an interesting
that gets people in the theaters.
Stamp. Yes,
but then it's funny because terrible movies like this still get maybe 20-30% good reviews, so they'll just show a headline from one of those good reviews. Oh, most dazzling movie of the summer. Then everyone's like, you know what? It's the most dazzling movie of the whole summer.
Well, I'll tell you why it was the most dazzling movie of all summer. This past weekend, Pirates made $326 million globally. So while it did not do well in American theaters, globally it made $326 million, which makes it the 20th best worldwide debut of all time. The 20th. What it does, because I know you're asking me, how can they keep doing this? How can they keep making just bad quality movies?
Yeah.
Well, it pushed the total franchise earnings from $3 billion into $4 billion now. That $326 million mark.
They made $4 billion off of Pirates of the Caribbean?
So far and counting. They've
just Pirates.
Just off of Pirates.
They might end at like $4.5 billion, and they bought Lucasfilm for.
I was gonna say
Star Wars for like what, $5
$2 billion.
Oh, $2 billion.
I think it was only $2 billion.
So they've already
or maybe $5 billion.
But because they're gonna make all this off Star Wars, and they've already budgeted and made all the money back just from freaking Pirates of the Caribbean.
But that is what they were doing, especially with on Stranger Tides. That was essentially a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
For buying Star Wars.
Hey guys, we need to buy Lucasfilm. Let's make another Pirates movie.
So, Pirates of the Caribbean, let's actually get down to the content and everything of the actual movie. So, at the head of the operation, we've got Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. Javier Bardem plays Captain Salazar. Mm-hmm. Orlando Bloom returns as Will Turner, and I don't feel like that's a big giveaway. They put that in the commercials.
Don't get your hopes up either. He's there for like a combined 45 seconds.
Jeffrey Rush is Captain Barbossa. Mm-hmm. We've got a newcomer, Kaya Scodelario as Karina Smith, and then Brenton Thwaites as Henry. Henry Turner, rather. So now we kind of go back to the movie as a whole.
Yeah.
Moving forward from On Stranger Tides. On Stranger Tides was an aberration of of what would I say? An aberration of walking along a sidewalk and stepping on dog poop, and then the next one being clean again. It was just an awful movie by itself. But in this fifth and what they've advertised it to be, final franchise film for Pirates of the Caribbean, it has made a return to respectability, I would say. Gary, you disagree?
I've heard, so I didn't see On Stranger Tides. From what I've read, this one has generally been a little bit more well-received and considered better than On Stranger Tides, but I don't think that's an improvement. I think that once the trilogy was over and they kept going, it lost a little bit of respectability for me. I thought, really quick thoughts, it was like hollow and empty and forgettable, and so I didn't get anything from watching it.
Definitely forgettable. I will say, when reviewing for this podcast, all of my notes and everything, I had to physically, in my mind, force myself to remember what happened next, what spurned that moment, what...
Well, and there's also, like, so much going on. Like, they try to take the story in, like, a million different directions, and it's just this cluster Arnold of ridiculousness that makes no sense and has no compelling motivation, and the characters go from one place to another, and then there's this amazing big CGI set piece, and in the end you're like, wow, that was actually really boring.
For me, it is essentially what it is. If you're into the Pirates franchise, this is standard, typical, won't make you mad. It is essentially
I
what
like
it is.
the Pirates franchise. I mean, I think that the first one especially, like, inspired all this cool stuff, but all the new lore in this movie and all the new mythos and stories, I don't think that they really add anything of note at all.
Okay, so let's delve into that. So the first movie was actually excellent. Everybody loved that movie.
Classic, Disney classic.
Created a lot of good, of a foundation upon which it could build a franchise on.
Yeah.
Now where it moved on from there, we don't agree with the direction, but created a great opening theme and musically
that everybody nailed it.
Yeah, so everything that's a very, as soon as you start to play it,
I still get chills whenever I hear the Pirates thing. Da 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 da. Like, come on, it's
fantastic.
It's legendary. Come on.
However, I think what succeeded in that first film that has been deviated from the formula, that has been altered off course, if you will, is that in the first film, it was truly an ensemble film. While you could argue that Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow was the featured ensemble film.
I mean, he was nominated for an Oscar for the first one.
Right.
Like, and seeing him in this most recent film, it's like on a different spectrum of lame.
And the
like,
reason
he was so forgettable.
Well, the reason why is because he became the focal point through which the entire film is built upon. Because when people go to see it, while we recognize Jack Sparrow and we all go to watch the film for him, what made it so compelling was not that he was the driving force of that story, but things outer than him.
He was the whole thing. I mean,
he was the comedic relief, really.
Yeah, well, he also, I think, put in a great performance, and he was also really unpredictable
in the first one.
That first one, and I mean, you can't bag on it for, like, you know, it's the most novel film. We'd never seen anything like that before, and they can't really repeat that after that. But his performance as a whole was just, like, so elevated. They also had different screenwriters and different directors, and it's like the franchise is on a totally new planet than it was when it started. You know, it was on a lot. It had one main discernible plot. You know, they were working towards the same goal, and then after that, it just kind of went crazy. All the stuff was thrown in there, and it doesn't make any sense.
Going down what you had pointed out earlier, the lore, the new lore that they put in, because that's important. Yeah. Because ever since the first film, while there were elements of fantastical, mystical storylines, ever since that first film, I feel that they've been trying too much and adding a lot of well-known elements of pirate lore as a whole, and making them into
Blackbeard, Poseidon in there, like.
Right, and it's understandable how they've I can appreciate you bring a mythos and relatable, well-known characters separately outside of a franchise, incorporating them into your story
cool.
to fit something, and that works.
I liked the whole Calypso thing and David Jones. That was cool, but once I don't think that it worked in this one at all.
No, it doesn't work because when they try to implement those elements of mythology, it goes and it comes and it goes as they want it to, and it doesn't have any rhyme or reason or logic outside of, oh well, now we'll follow the rules that we had previously set, or oh well, now it's kind of doesn't matter anymore, so we'll just skip holding true to that logic which we had stated earlier.
They use it as a plot device and as a prop to move the movie forward, just like with some of these characters. The girl who played Karina was used to move Barbossa's plot forward. You know, the staff of Poseidon was used to get the movie to that point, just so that Henry could break his dad's curse. Like nothing is really tied together. Like you said, they just kind of sprinkle it in there whenever they need something to happen. They're like, ooh, let's put the undead army in right now, and then let's put the Poseidon stuff in there next, and that'll get them to this point.
So it had a very cheesy opening to me, where before it used to be about action and swashbuckling and everything. Now it's kind of turned into a mix of, we've done this before, so we can't particularly do this again. Yeah. How do we make something new and exciting? And they're fighting that battle by putting out bigger and bolder spectacles.
More CGI. That's not the answer.
But that's not the answer. That's
more
correct.
CGI is never the answer, guys.
And when they open up and Javier Bardem gives a complete and unaccredited roll credits of, I always leave one alive.
Jack Sparrow.
Well, Jack Sparrow was fun, but it's Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah.
That's, to me, it's completely eye-rolling and too cheesy to give it any validity. And it's so bad of a line that it takes me out of the whole thing and makes me reassess myself and brings me to reality of, like, this is stupid.
Yeah. That was kind of a running theme for me throughout the whole film, was, like, the expository dialogue. Like, they would show a shot of, like, a sword, and they'd be like, look, the sword! Or British soldiers would be chasing pirates through the streets, and the British soldiers would all be like, get them, seize them! Just stuff that's like, we know what you're doing, you don't have to say it, you know? And I would be in the moment, and they would say, and they would all look at a ship, and they'd be shocked, and I'd be like, whoa! And then they'd go, look, a ship! And it's like, it's
and so also, dumb. A lot of the tension that is created in this film is so and completely artificial that it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. It's when Jack Sparrow is put in these perilous positions, there's no fear that this will be the last we see of him or that he'll actually die.
I was literally just thinking that because, like, he was going to get executed like 20 minutes in the film, and I was like, I'm not scared at all because I know he's going to last till the end of the film. Like, this is pointless. I have no... I'm not invested in this right now.
And using it as just a comic relief does not ring true to what I thought the series originally was intended to be. Yeah. And it's a shame. So, moving on, besides the fact that Karina Smith, the actress who plays her, Kaya, did the breathless woman cliche. About like 20 minutes into the film, I was already done with her. That is quite possibly the most annoying thing to me. The stupid premise to trade the compass for rum.
Oh my god, that was another thing. Oh, we need the undead army to be freed. How do we do it? Have Jack get really drunk and give his compass to a bartender. That's what it's going to be.
There's very few things that have kept this whole line of Pirates franchise connected. And they try their darndest to not have it be so, because every time you turn around, they're like, wait, that's made it through all these franchises. It means something now.
Yeah.
And so now finally they incorporated the compass as a story plot line but it doesn't work because it's so evident that in their minds as a screenwriter, you're thinking, okay, why is it that you're trying to create a history for this evil villain, right? Of why Captain Salazar would hate Captain Jack Sparrow. And in doing so, you're like, okay, 20 years ago, he's been brewing on this, and he's been filled with rage, and he's been trapped. Okay, Bible, but now, of course, the question is, how do you release him? And the fact that they attune that to the compass.
They wrote like a 20-minute scene of the origin of their conflict.
Which was actually probably one of the better moments of the film for me.
It's just, it's like you said, well, they need to give this compass a reason for being there, so let's make a scene. I don't know. Flashbacks also, I don't ever think are a really good idea unless they really, really serve a good purpose, and this was just a...
Or if they're in the beginning of the film and they're riding 500 feet elephants and, destroying castles and...
Oh, that wasn't a flashback. That was just the
that was a flashback
movie.
In the form of King Arthur.
That was the greatest part of the film. Of King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
And it was a flashback. And going on...
What was it?
I don't appreciate how just inconsistent everything. To me, that was the biggest sin of this entire film, was how much the inconsistency of everything just bended to the will of the screenwriters. Yeah. And I felt that if they had done that more justice, then we could have had a more serviceable and viable plot. Because even the ending I felt was unjustified and uttered meaningless because... of a couple things, just off of what we've already talked about. One, the pirate lore just gets to be too much for me sometimes because it's okay. Well, it means something now, or it doesn't mean anything, or it goes as you want. But even more so than that, you're never really concerned about any character dying.
No.
So let's go back to Pirates of the Caribbean 2, right? When Captain Barbossa comes back at the end of Pirates of the Caribbean 2 to set up the sequel for the third one.
Yeah.
Just that ability that you can kill each of your characters and bring them back, and it's like, even for the third one, it was a ridiculous premise to me where Captain Barbossa was dead. He wasn't dead or something, whatever that was. To me, it was completely
ludicrous. Just go get him.
It was completely ludicrous.
Sail away, go get him.
So when this ending happens, and it's supposedly the final ending, even the fact that they have a post-credits scene.
Yeah.
I just don't think...
You know what? It's cheap to give us a 2.5-hour bad movie and then take two characters, Elizabeth and Will, who haven't been in a Pirates movie for almost 10 years. They haven't been an integral part of those movies for forever. You bring them in at the end and make it like this huge, bombastic, amazing reunion moment. And it doesn't mean anything because at this point, it's like, it's hollow, it's meaningless. And they use that just to make people go, oh, I remember them, now they're back together.
And to be fair...
so terrible.
And to be fair, Orlando Bloom hasn't been in a movie for a long time himself either.
No,
so...
It was weird.
And even the beginning was for the actual movie, which was different than the Captain Salazar beginning, which was the true beginning, was just completely and utterly unnecessary.
So forced, yeah.
And for me, the entire movie has a great or a semi-good premise that I felt could have crescendoed into a fantastic ending.
He wants to break his father's curse. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. Okay, let's go into that. So there's
that storyline. That would be great.
And it gets so convoluted, completely convoluted with arguably 3 storylines.
Yeah.
One is the breaking of the father's curse. 2 is the love story.
And then Salazar trying to kill Jack.
Salazar trying to kill Jack.
And then Jack trying to reach his former glory. And then this, and this, and this.
And then Karina Smith trying to avenge her father's name or something.
Yeah, finish her father's
legacy.
Work and
yes.
Yeah.
So there's 5 solid storylines right there. It's too much. And for me, the one that gets cut out, the love story was completely unnecessary.
They just need a romantic subplot in there.
For every single film, and I felt it's unnecessary. If there's one part of the formula you're going to mess with, just get rid of that. Who needs it? So...
Also, Jack's subplot, his storyline of trying to become like a glorious captain again, maybe it was Johnny Depp's performance, but the whole thing was just like, it's just a waste of space on the screen. I felt bad. I was like, what is going on with Johnny Depp, man? This is so...
For me, his entire device to move forward was just to survive, and that's never per se, unless if you're in a horror film, that's never really a good motivation. But this movie, literally, figuratively, in any sense of the word, jumps the shark, which is completely true. And in this case, Johnny Depp is the Fonz, and the entire film franchise just gets jumped the shark. That's it. That is where the series dies. Hopefully it's done.
You know what? The action scenes in this film, so if we go back and look at like the first 2 or 3 Pirates, where the second and third were kind of hollow theme-wise, they had some really cool practical action scenes, like they're having a sword fight like while rolling in a wheel going down a hill. And then the first one, they're like swinging across ropes over like a harbor, fighting as they like swing by each other. That's cool. I like practical stunts like that, but this new one was all digital, and it takes away some of the cool like swashbuckling magic that like we're used to seeing when it's just ghost pirates eating people and not any just kind of just gloriously fun action anymore.
Even at least in the third film, which was somewhat just a bleh movie, just a 5. Yeah. It had a lot of those moments where good swashbuckling and also a lot of seafaring adventures where you see a ship blow up and there's some good moments.
Pirate movie.
But for me, going with the biggest sin, which is willy-nilly caring about this or this makes sense or whatever. They make such a big deal about the Black Pearl being the fastest ship ever in the entire pirate lore.
It gets caught every movie.
Every freaking movie.
It's like
how is this the fastest? That to me is just unlogical. It's so insulting.
It's maybe at best it's like the 8th fastest ship. I mean, British Navy ships will catch it. Davy Jones catches it. Salazar catches it. Like,
I don't understand. And Salazar's ship is a wreck. It's a literal wreck.
It's a skeleton ship.
And the precise reason why they chose the Black Pearl was because it's the fastest ship in the entire...
The fastest ship in the Spanish Main.
Yeah, and yet, for some reason, it always gets caught. That, to me, is just egregiously insulting to my intelligence.
But when they need the Black Pearl to be fast, they will make it be a fast ship because they use these things like the compass and the Black Pearl.
Yes.
And...
to draw you back in because you know the Black Pearl.
Push the story forward because at some point it'd be like, that's the Black Pearl, the fastest ship in the world, and then a wind gust comes in, and then oh my gosh, they got away.
So, biggest acting disappointment to you in this film is
Johnny Depp. Because the other actors weren't great, but like you just have an expectation with the character of Jack Sparrow. Just was not there. It felt like a shadow of Jack Sparrow. Did not like it.
For me, it's got to be Javier Bardem, only because Captain Jack Sparrow for me. I don't feel it was his fault, for Johnny Depp's fault, that they highlighted him. I just felt it's a very unmotivational character, and you can only do so much. So when you make him the focal point in the front of the film and don't even give him any real motivation, you're only doing the best that you can.
Yeah.
Javier Bardem, I just love him as a villain, and in this one he was just kind of a runaround villain.
Maybe it was because of that I just imagine him filming this in like a blue suit, doing his best, and then you watch it and it's like distracting, all the digital. It's too much.
So there you go. I mean, as much as everything was artistically somewhat alright, it just does not ring true. So this brings us to our Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yes.
On Rotten Tomatoes, it's currently standing at a 37. You, Gary, give it a...
I would give it 29.
Whoa!
29!
Whoa! That is awful.
Barely good than a quarter. My grandma gave me 2 free movie tickets, and I used it to go to this movie, and I was like, I don't want to spend money on it, but I don't want to even use free money on it. And afterwards, I'm totally regretting that whole decision. But you know what? For the art and for the glory of this podcast, I pushed through.
Glory!
I bought popcorn for this movie, which I never do.
Well, at least you enjoyed that.
I enjoyed. You know what? Like you said, I'm like popcorn hungover now. I'm just like
popcorn hungover.
So groggy right now. This was. I never saw On Stranger Tides, but this was definitely the worst of the Pirates movies, in my opinion.
Wow, On Stranger Tides is pretty bad, and maybe it's because of that. But I will give it a solid 61.
61.
Yep.
What?
And you want to know why?
Why?
Because for me, it's essentially the Pirates movie, just another one.
Oh
like Khaled, DJ Khaled rhymes with salad said, it's another one. And if you enjoy the rest of them, this one's just an alright movie. It's just mindless matter to just take up 2 hours.
That's why it's 29, because it's mindless.
But it's not bad. I've seen worse movies. We have seen worse. Action Hero insulted me, and that's pretty darn low. But this was not.
It had Arnold.
Yeah, it's true. I do have a German question later for the Arnold. But there was at least some redeeming factors to it. It looked pretty, even though it was just...
Digital is not pretty.
Well, the hovering hair was kind of cool. Like how his hair was always floating. Javier Bardem's like mystical floating black
reach
hair.
out and touch it.
And I enjoyed a lot, even though I said he underwhelmed me, Javier Bardem, there were just a couple moments where I was like, okay,
Oh,
good.
hey, you're a good actor.
Yeah,
We know it.
okay. Gosh darn it, I hate that you're this good, but go ahead.
Yeah.
And I liked the flashback. I actually did enjoy the flashback. It was something that I was looking forward to, and it took a long time to get there. And I think if it was misappropriately placed, but had it been sooner, had it taken place of even that first opening scene, I think it would have been successful. And I think
if this film was an hour shorter, I might have liked it.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe if they had made a 5-minute flashback and this was an hour,
What?
45-minute film.
What?
The flashback does not need to be longer than 5 minutes. What was it, 10 or 15?
Okay.
At least.
All right, so Gary's wrong, and heading into Give Me 5, I will preach to you the entire during this entire commercial why you're wrong, and
Bring it on.
coming back on the other side, I have a game filled Give Me 5, so I hope you're ready for
I
that.
do too. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Red Ribbon Realty Group at HomeSmart is a full-service real estate team of Phoenix natives with over 15 years of experience in the industry. When you work with them, you have 2 full-time realtors representing your best interests throughout your entire transaction, whether you are selling, buying, or renting. They also believe in supporting their community. Use code word chopped greens, and Red Ribbon Realty Group will donate 15% of their net commission from your transaction to the nonprofit charity of your choice. Visit their website at www.redribbongroup.com and find them on Facebook. You can also email them at info@redribbongroup.com or call them at 602-888-6638. Red Ribbon Realty Group. Trust. Commitment. Home. Oh! How do you feel after that?
I feel humbled. They should have made that a 2-hour flashback.
Yes.
You were right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And they did. And that 2-hour flashback is the first Pirates film. That's what that is.
Yeah, wow. I never realized.
There you go. So that's why if we ever get into a fight, you know, like a fist fight, and we do it for charity or something.
Yeah.
You've done that before, right?
I did that with Jesse, my friend. We hosted a charity boxing match after the tsunami in the Philippines. We raised $400.
There you go.
And it was awful.
You lost?
No, I won, but he's like my best friend.
Oh.
And we like fought.
Maybe-
It was like play fighting. We were like trying to hurt each other. It was weird. I didn't like it.
Oh.
Afterwards.
Afterwards, did it hurt?
Yeah, well, like I was sore. I think he had like a concussion because like he fell and hit his head on the ground. I'd never done boxing before. I'm not the fighting type. So doing that with your best friend was really strange.
All right, so-
I'm going into a really deep dark place right now, man.
Yeah, so if you and me do it, then it'll be fine.
Yeah,
we don't care.
I mean, I pretty much hate you.
Yeah, there we go. We always are on the opposite side
Yeah.
of it. All right, Gary, it is Give Me 5, that time of the show where I've got 5 questions for you. You've got 5 questions for me. We don't know what they are, but we will answer them honestly. Do you want to go first?
Oh, you know what? Who went first last week? Was it you?
It was me.
You wanted to go first on my birthday. So now I'll go first this time.
Okay, sounds
Cool.
good.
Alrighty, well, you know me. I always like to relate my first question to the movie we saw.
God bless you.
So I have a very fun game of pirate trivia.
Arr!
Pirate facts. Aye. Ahoy.
Do we have an accord?
D'accord. So, 3 questions, 3 facts each. One of them is false.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Aye.
Alright. I was going to do a pirate voice for each of these, but I think that I'll get throat cancer if I do. So I'm just going to talk like this.
Aye.
The first okay, this is number 1. The first recorded act of piracy was in the 11th century when Scandinavian Vikings attacked and took over English ships in the Atlantic.
Okay.
Number 2, the ancient Greeks regarded piracy as a viable profession and considered it an entirely honorable way to make a living.
Okay.
Number 3, Julius Caesar was once kidnapped and briefly held by Sicilian pirates for prisoner. When the pirates asked for a ransom of 20 talents, he scoffed at them and demanded that they ask for 50 talents.
That third one is completely true because Caesar was very arrogant and I don't think you could make up the word talents. So let's go with the Greek. I don't think they even had boats.
That's your final answer?
That's my final. That's the fake one. Fake fact.
False!
Ah.
The fake one is the Scandinavian pirates. The Greeks referenced pirates in the Iliad and the Odyssey and considered kidnapping women and children to be completely okay.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Number 2. Pirate galleys, aka pirate ships, were very small, nimble, and lightly armed, in contrast to what we usually see in films like Pirates of the Caribbean. And they were heavily manned in order to overwhelm the small crews of merchant ships.
Okay.
Number 2. Although the Atlantic and Caribbean pirates are highly romanticized, Asian pirates equaled or even outnumbered them at every point in history.
Okay.
Number 3. Many pirate communities or crews operated as limited democracies, instituting a system of checks and balances similar to the one used by the present-day United States.
Oh, okay. The answer is the booty one, the last one.
The last one is
That's
what you say.
Yay.
Phil,
Yeah.
you're all for 2.
Ah.
You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
Yeah, in one.
So the second one is actually, although the Atlantic and Caribbean pirates are highly romanticized, Mediterranean pirates equally outnumbered. Not
You pirate. You filthy pirate.
You filthy liar, pirate. Okay, this is number 3. English colonies such as Bermuda, New York, and Rhode Island funded pirate voyages in hopes of raising more gold for their provinces when the British government abandoned them.
Okay.
Number 2, the name Jolly Roger was given to the flag because of the English pirate Roger Herald, who in the 15th century was known as the Laughing Pirate due to his penchant for laughing while executing his victims.
Okay.
Number 3, Blackbeard, real name Edward Teach, was one of the most feared pirates of all time. Before boarding a ship, he would weave hemp through his beard and light it on fire to intimidate his enemies.
That's going to be Blackbeard.
That's your false one?
Yes.
Phil, you're 0 for 3!
Ah.
The false one was the second one!
Ah.
Jolly Roger is, it was named after, Joli Rouge in French, which means very red or something, and all the English pirates just butchered it and said, Jolly Roger.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But Blackbeard actually weaved hemp in his beard and lit it on fire and then would go and kill like 50 people. That's insane.
Go him.
Yeah,
Good for him.
Blackbeard. Sounds like a good guy.
Creating a new brand for himself. I do love a good Shark Tank episode. Okay, next one.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, that was it.
That
Okay,
was 3.
finally.
I'm gonna go for you.
All right, sounds great. Gary, the finals matchup is set, but
Oh, yeah.
perhaps being laid to the wayside is LeBron James's personal streak of leading his teams to 7 straight NBA Finals appearances.
Yeah.
A record that is unmatched in NBA history. Gary, I've got some historical events that happened in 2010, the last time LeBron was not in the finals.
Ooh, this is good.
Yes, and I want you to tell me if they did or did not happen in 2010. Are you ready? These are going to be kind of fast.
Let's do it.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
First one, you just tell me true or false if they happened in 2010. They're all real events, just whether or not they happened in 2010.
Gotcha.
The 2010 Olympics were held in Athens, Greece, where Michael Phelps began his Olympic career. True or false?
False.
That is completely false. The Olympics were held in South Africa.
After it was 2004, I think.
Yes, I knew there was Athens, Greece in there somewhere, and I didn't know if you would know that as well. All right. In 2010, the BP oil spill, the largest oil spill in American history, occurred this year. True or false?
True.
Absolutely true. 2 for O. Fantastic. 2 for O?
2 for O?
2 for 2. There we go.
Or 2
yeah,
for, yeah.
Yeah, 2 for 2. Yeah, there you go. All right. The first iPhone was released in 2010. True or false?
False.
That is false. It was the first iPad.
Ah!
Yeah.
Trying to trick me with the phone pad switch up.
There you
Classic.
The fourth one. Obama signed into action the Health Care Reform Act, now known as Obamacare. True or false? Fast!
False!
That is actually 100% true.
Oh, I thought it happened later.
Yes, I know, right? 7 years, who knew? And then finally, Kobe won his 4th championship and his first without Shaquille O'Neal, a.k.a. the man with the dabbing toe. True or false?
False.
That is false. He won his 5th and final championship as an NBA player.
Dang. I did not do bad.
No, you did not. 4
I know
and 1.
my 2010.
Yes,
very
7
well.
years ago, Gary is all on it. There we go. Good to know. Your turn, Gary.
All right, you ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
As been happening, Donald Trump shocked the Twitter world with his most recent tweet that read, it has since been deleted because no one knew what it meant. It said, despite the constant negative press, Cobb Fefe. And that is spelled C-O-V-F-E-F-E. He just wrote, despite the constant negative press, Cobb Fefe. And he tweeted that, and then he deleted it because everyone's like, what is Covfefe? So I have...
I've heard Covfefe.
Covfefe?
Who knows?
Covfefe?
Yeah.
Maybe it's an acronym, and that's actually my guess because from a very trusted source known as my brain, I've come up with 3 acronyms for Covfefe.
What it could mean. Okay, go ahead.
I want you to tell me which is the most likely.
Okay, give it to me.
Acronym number 1. Copper ominously vindicates flowers. Entirely factually, existentially.
Okay.
That's very viable.
That could be. Copper does have a negative effect on flowers.
The second one is, despite the constant negative press, centaurs, octopi, very freaky, even floppy elbows.
Okay.
I mean, you could be talking about centaurs and octopi. And then number 3, which I think is most likely, is despite the constant negative press. Come on, Vicky. Farting entertainment? Farting entertainment?
Now, we would have to find out who this Vicky is.
Yes, but I'm sure he
true.
probably knows a Vicky. Maybe in his staff. She was having a farting good time, and he said that.
Well, I will tell you, Vicky is probably untrue. We would know who Vicky is if he did not like her. He would not subtweet Vicky.
Okay.
So it's not number 3. And as much, I don't think he knows what a centaur-octopi combination would look like, so I'm going to say no to 2. However, that copper flowers, that's pretty deep.
You think the copper ominously vindicates flowers entirely factually, existentially?
That's what I'm going with, Covfefe.
Wow. Well, let's get it out there. I think that we've solved the puzzle of Covfefe.
Yes, we'll live tweet it and see how that goes. All right, Gary, I was on Twitter, speaking of Twitter, the other day, when I looked at my notifications and there was a sassy little tweet by a new follower of mine saying, "Hey, at Philip Amrine, now I can find my own Uber facts."
You know it.
I inspected the source and found it to be true that one Gary Boucher is now indeed a part of the Twitterverse, and congratulations is in order to joining the 21st century. However, in light of the challenge, I do in fact have another thrilling edition of the Uber Facts trivia game.
Yay!
This is where I
fun.
have 5 sets of 3 facts. 2 are true, 1 I completely made up. Are you up for the challenge, Mr. Boucher?
Get the knowledge!
All right, number 1. We are more attracted, fact number 1, set number 1. Here we go. We are more attracted to people with a genetically different scent than ours to avoid incest. Fact number 2, rats have 11 toes, which gives them the exclusive ability within the rodent family to climb walls. Fact number 3, being in a green setting or even glancing at the color green can make a person more creative. Which one is the fake fact, Gary? We are more attracted to people who smell different to avoid incest. Rats have 11 toes so they can walk on walls. Or being in a green room makes you more creative.
I feel like 11 toes would not permit you to walk on walls, but I'm gonna go with my gut because I feel like back in the day, incest was pretty prevalent to like keep the family lines clean or whatever. I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones lately.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with number 1. I think it's false.
That is completely true. I made up the 11 toes.
What?
That is the fake fact. You sniffed it and yet you still sniffed wrong.
And then I went away from it.
Then you went to your... No. All right. I'm not going to make a joke there. All right. Next one. Okay, let's go this. The Xenopus frog, I think that's how we pronounce it, is by far the most flexible frog, who is known to bend over backwards and remain stationary to resemble the buds of flowers in order to consume its prey. That's fact number 1. Fact number 2, drinking beer actually gives you a healthy dose of silicone, which helps strengthen your bones and teeth. Fact number 3, anyone we send to Mars will live in a constant state of jet lag since a Martian day is 39 minutes and 35 seconds longer than an Earth day. So is fact number 1, the Xenopus frog is flexible, the most flexible. Fact number 2, drinking beer is actually healthy. Or fact number 3, if you go to Mars, you will be in some serious jet lag.
Man, I think it's between 1 and 2 once again. And
Okay.
The first one is the frog one, right? Second one is the beer one.
That's correct. No, the first one is the frog one. Second one is the beer one. Yes.
I'm looking at my nutrition facts on my grapefruit beer right here, and there is actually no. I think it's on the box, not on the can, because there's nothing here. So I'm just let down the dust. I don't know a lot about frogs, but beer is not inherently healthy. But I feel like you could have just made that frog thing up out of nowhere. So I'm gonna go with the frog one.
See, that is a real frog. But I made up the flexibility.
We made
I looked at this ballerina portrait we have in our recording room right now.
And that's where you got
That's
it from?
where I was like, you know what? Let's just combine the frogs and so
Sniff
you
you out.
got it. You actually so it's a real frog. It's a very fat frog though, so I don't think
Yes.
that's true at all. All right. Next fact: you are 1-1. Echolalia is the involuntary urge to imitate what someone just said the exact way they just said it. Fact number 2, 3 people die every year in the United States due to being involuntarily shocked by static electricity. Fact number 3, some cats are allergic to humans. All right, here we go, one more time. Echolalia is the involuntary urge to imitate what someone else just said, the exact way they just said it. Fact number 2, 3 people die every year in the United States by being shocked by static electricity. And fact number 3, some cats are allergic to humans.
You know, I think that all cats are allergic to humans.
Mm-hmm.
The cats hate us.
Of course.
I'm gonna go with number 2.
With the
Static. I think it's more. I think it's like 3,000 or something.
Yeah, I completely made that up, and I don't know if there is a true number. So, go you.
You gotta find out.
I gotta find out. All right, next one. When the Italian dish spaghetti and meatballs was introduced to Brazil, the meatballs were substituted with fish eyes and remain a popular spin-off dish to this day.
That sounds good.
Fact number 2, touching or feeling money can help you overcome negative physical and emotional experiences.
Jeez.
And fact number 3, the German word for nipple is Brustwars, which literally means breastwart. Breastwart.
Plus what?
Yeah, that's a tongue
Plus
twister.
what?
So, spaghetti and meatballs, fisheye and meatballs, or fisheye and spaghetti. Touching or feeling money can help you emotionally. Or Brustwars is the German word for nipple.
I'm gonna go with breastwort just because I've seen some videos of people speaking German, and that's like too close to the real thing. Like it'd be something like Kunstschläge. Something just doesn't even sound like breastwort or nipple or anything to do with that.
Right. That is completely true.
What?
I completely made up the fish eyes and meatballs or whatever. I couldn't even say it right, but go you. All right, last one.
So
Each.
I'm 2 for 4.
Yes.
So this will put me over 500 or under 500.
Correct. This is the deciding vote right here. If this were Congress, your bill passes or fails because of this.
Ooh.
Here we go. Each cigarette smoked takes 5 to 11 minutes off of the smoker's lifespan. Fact number 2, lemons will repel spiders. And fact number 3, in Antwerp, Belgium, microwaves are outlawed. So one more time. Each cigarette smoked takes 5 to 11 minutes off of the smoker's lifespan. Fact number 2, lemons will repel spiders. And Antwerp, Belgium outlaws microwaves.
I'm gonna go with the spiders and the lemons. That is false.
Is that your final answer? I didn't even give
Final
you
answer. I've seen some spiders crawling some lemon
some
trees.
very brave spiders. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, those are just abnormal spiders because I completely made up the outlawed microwaves.
Ah!
And therefore you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Your turn, Gary.
All right.
And that is how we Uber facts up in here.
Oh, that is how we take 5 to 11 minutes off our life, is by doing that terrible, terrible game. So I don't know if you saw, but Tiger Woods was pulled over for a DUI.
I caught that, yes.
Yeah, he said, like, it wasn't alcohol, it was prescription drugs. I had to do some
Oh.
accident, but he actually tested negative for alcohol or like marijuana.
Yeah, he had a 0.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was something else, but I kind of feel bad for the guy. He kind of screwed himself over with the last thing he did, but at this point, his fall from grace is just so tragic. But on a positive note, there's a lot of athletes that have fallen from grace or had hardship and come back and done amazing things. So I want to ask you, who is your greatest athlete comeback story and why?
So, my greatest inspiration, and maybe this is just because I'm a jaded fan, so my greatest comeback story has to be 100% Peyton Manning goes to the Denver Broncos.
Ooh.
He takes them to the Super Bowl, not once, but twice.
Wins one.
Wins one,
comes
and the
back
other
from neck
one-
surgery. He couldn't even throw a football.
Couldn't even throw a football. He had a weak arm to begin with.
Yeah.
And it's actually a huge pat on the back that it can be said that you're the greatest quarterback, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, if not, if you relegate him to the best regular season quarterback. And he couldn't really throw the football, even to start out his career. So, go Peyton Manning. You chose the right team, Denver Broncos.
Peyton Manning.
Go you. Did you have somebody in mind just really fast? Steve Nash, maybe?
Steve Nash, he didn't really have to come back from anything.
Yeah, because he just left when the Lakers traded for him.
Michael Jordan's come back when his dad died. I would throw Peyton Manning in there. I'm trying to think of people who were terribly injured.
There's always people like the shark people, the woman who lost her leg and was a surfer with the shark bite.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like that who lose an arm or a leg. Kudos to you.
Fighters, boxers, all that good stuff.
Yeah. All right, Gary, I've got another question for you. It is coming up right here. All right, the Cleveland Cavaliers have released their new logo for the 2017-18 season today, replacing the basketball on the logo for a black shield. I personally enjoy the logo, but I have to ask you, do any logos matter? Meaning, off of the top of your head, what are the coolest logos, and how much does a logo mean to a team?
Logos do matter. There's cheesy logos out there. I'm trying to pin it down. But
I off the top of my head, I can't even think of many. There's the Lakers. I don't even know what their logo is. It's just it's gold and purple.
I don't like the Suns' new logo, but I like our original retro logo. I didn't like the Suns logo in the mid-2000s with the basketball and the Phoenix wrapped around it, with it on fire. Mm-hmm. I actually think that our logo now is better. Well, our logo now just has Suns. But, for example, the old Vancouver Grizzlies logo is really cool. The old Minnesota Timberwolves logo is really cool. So I think that they do matter, especially now with marketing and everything being so big and brand image. Having a cool logo, you can see everyone's changing their logo because it puts more people in the seats just seeing that logo, I think.
Well, outside of maybe the Dallas Mavericks, because it's hard to make a horse look menacing.
Yeah.
I think maybe the Boston Celtics have one of the better logos because
Celtics.
It's hard to quantify what a Celtic would look like, but that Celtic looks pretty cool. Just a regular chill little midget guy.
The Clippers have a lame logo.
That is very lame.
Golden State's new logo was totally part of their rise to power and all that good stuff.
So it's kind of 50-50, we're saying. All right, your turn, Gary.
Let's see. All right, so before we did this, I interviewed you randomly about your most hated celebrities, and then I made a question out of it.
Oh, fantastic.
You have fallen on hard times, and you have found yourself stranded on an island with one of these 4 people, and your only entertainment for the rest of your life is their content, either the music or all the movies that they've been in.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to ask you, who do you choose and why? You are stuck with either Justin Bieber,
okay,
Taylor Swift, Adam Sandler, or Megan Fox. And every day you have to listen to the music or watch their movies. That's all you get to do, and that's all you get to be with.
So it's Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Adam Sandler.
Megan Fox.
Okay, Megan Fox is dead. I mean, she's off the island. Adam Sandler, I could not stomach watching even once Jack and
Jill every day.
And that's god awful.
Now you're down to Justin Bieber and T Swift.
What a Sophie's choice here for myself. I would say, as much as I enjoy Shake It Off as the next guy, I cannot get over You Were Trouble When You Walked In. The GOAT has ruined it. Yes, so I'm gonna go with the Biebs. Give me the Biebster.
You're gonna be stranded with Justin Bieber for your whole life. I'm surprised. I thought you were gonna take Megan Fox.
I just want somebody to love.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shocking.
I like his older stuff.
All right.
You know why?
What's that?
Because the first time I ever said that to a table, everybody was like, "Really? You liked it?" And I was like, "No, I meant when he himself is older."
Oh.
Not his and then I realized what I said.
I thought that's what you meant. So you like his newer stuff?
I like his newer stuff.
You should just say that.
Yes, that is what I mean when I say it. Speaking of the Biebster, Justin Bieber is in the news today, Gary. The supposed bad luck pop star donned the Pittsburgh Penguins hockey jersey to show his support for the Penguins. However, fans of the tuxedoed birds are calling it the kiss of death, with Bieber cursing many a sports team such as the Steelers, the Knicks, and even Spain's World Cup team. Gary, do you believe in sports curses, and are you a superstitious fan at all?
You see, I go back and forth on this. I played sports in high school,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you're like naturally superstitious. You get into like a routine, like a ritual. You know, Michael Jordan wore the same shirt every game, his North Carolina practice shirt. You got like sports curses. When Chicago just broke the curse of the Billy Goat.
The Cubs, yes.
This
And the
last
Red
year.
Sox broke it. The Cleveland Cavaliers broke
So
it.
you know what? Do I actually believe in like real curses? No, but I think that sports lore has a lot of power, and I think that when you're told something over and over and over again like that, you start to just like latch onto that, and it affects the way you play and everything. So in a way, sports curses do have an effect on sports.
Out of question, which team winning a championship was the Poseidon's Trident of sports?
Breaking sports.
Yes, was it the Cleveland Cavaliers, was it the Chicago Cubs, or was it the Boston Red Sox?
I would say the Cubs just because it was the longest.
Okay.
You know, the Cavs meant more to me just because I'm a big basketball fan, but the Cubs most likely because that's like so infamous, in my opinion.
Fair enough. All right, your turn, Gary.
So, I stumbled upon a cool website called Hardest Would You Rather Questions of All Time.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna go through. I have 5 Would You Rather questions. They are extremely disgusting and hard.
Fantastic.
And,
Hit me.
you're gonna pick. So number 1, would you rather eat a potato and feel its pain, or would you rather be a potato?
Yeah, no, I would definitely just be a potato.
You would rather be a potato than
Yeah.
be one and feel its pain?
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather have hiccups for the rest of your life, or always feel like you're going to sneeze but never be able to?
Oh, that's tough. I feel that hiccups would not allow me to talk, but on the other hand, if I'm constantly needing to sneeze, I wouldn't even be able to eat. So I probably would go hiccups and not like it.
Hiccups suck, but yeah. All right, let's see. Would you rather be itchy for the rest of your life, or be sticky for the rest of your life?
Or be what?
Itchy or sticky?
Sticky. Probably yes. Let's go with sticky.
I'd rather be sticky than itchy.
Yeah, are you kidding me? I could just go and be like the world's best sticky note.
Probably just like roll up buildings and stuff.
Yeah, that's
Like
true. I
sticky
could.
superpower.
That is a superpower.
That's true. Well, that's actually a really good one then. Would you rather always say everything that's on your mind, or never be able to speak again?
Ironic as it is, I don't fully enjoy people who always speak their minds and just everything that comes off the top of their head. And I think we all know some people. I would probably be alright with never being able to speak again.
Wow.
Yeah.
We couldn't do this podcast if that was the case.
I would probably do a Stephen Hawking something.
Stephen Hawking podcast.
Yeah.
This is the last one. Definitely the best one.
Oh,
Would
fantastic.
you rather poop out of your mouth or have taste buds in your butt?
How dare you? How absolute dare you? I think how dare you? I would probably have taste buds in my nether regions only because I don't think I could kiss anybody knowing
True.
full well that
Poop.
had erupted from my mouth. So
Very descriptive verb right there.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Yeah. Well, that was great fun.
yes, and let me move on to mine, which is a little bit different. Gary, in spite of a serviceable performance from Javier Bardem in Pirates of the Caribbean, the movie was still tasteless visual fodder. But it got me to thinking just how great of an actor Javier Bardem is, and more specifically, how great of a villain he can play. So I ask you, Gary, who are your top 5 movie villains of all time, and who were they played by? Because there's a difference. You know, you can go the Joker in 3 different ways.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure it's not the newest Joker.
Not Jared Leto's
No.
Joker. Not by a long shot.
Javier Bardem, by the way, eligible for multiple roles of him in this.
I would consider him.
You want to go 5 and 5? We'll just go down the list each other.
Yeah.
All right, so you go first.
So my number 5 would be. So I was gonna say Javier Bardem. Neither his Bond villain or his No Country for Old Men villain is gonna make this list.
Okay.
But I love both of them dearly. But number 5 for me is John Doe from the movie Seven,
Okay.
played by Kevin Spacey. I don't want to ruin the twist ending because it's like the biggest twist ever, but he's like the most despicable, heartless villain, and you just rip his freaking head off.
Oh, okay.
That's my number 5.
Okay. My number 5, goes to, and I'm going way out of left field here, but I think you'll like it once I explain. Miranda Priestley, Meryl Streep from Devil Wears Prada.
Huh.
I know, right? You don't think of it, but I think it's one of the best acted villains of all time. Yeah. So that's why, anytime Meryl Streep's a villain, and the fact that she had that much power without having to say much and raising her tone, I actually really enjoyed. Thank you. All right, your turn. 4.
4 is Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, yes!
Christoph Waltz.
I love Christoph Waltz as a villain.
For a glass of milk and then killing people.
He barely missed for his performance in Spectre. I loved his performance. I just love him as a villain. All right, number 4 for me, Michael Corleone, Al Pacino, Godfather trilogy.
Ooh.
He's kind of the classic anti-hero.
Yeah.
And really good. You're number 3. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Yeah.
Number 3, mine is a pretty recent one. I love this villain. This villain inspired fear in me growing up, and I still get chills when I see some of the scenes with him. This is Voldemort from Harry Potter.
Okay. You're wrong, but okay.
Like, Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort, especially in the last 3 movies, like with his snake nostrils, and he's like choking Harry, he's like hissing at him, and just like his little white feet pitter-pattering across the cement in like black robes. It's just mortifying. So
I was thinking you were going to go with Hannibal Lecter there because you were saying all that. But anyways, my making number 3 is the Joker, Heath Ledger's version from The Dark Knight. Top 3 very easily could be, these top 3, I mean, are all, well, actually, the last 2 of my top 3 are interchangeable. Yes. So, but anyways, your turn.
Mine is Heath Ledger's Joker. Is number 2.
All right.
He is legendary and eminently watchable and just so interesting and creepy.
Redefine the Joker for me.
Yes.
Jack. Why can't I think of his last name?
Nicholson?
Jack Nicholson. Yes. He kind of did the classic Joker and redefined him and just totally played a 3-dimensional part. Yeah. Excellent choice. My number 2, Hans Gruber. Alan Rickman in Die Hard.
Hans Gruber.
Kind of for me, the classic monologuing villain and just very smart. And even his death scene is a classic to me.
He kicked off the Nakatomi Plaza Tower.
Yes, fantastic. And fun fact about that, they told him that they were going to drop him at 3. They dropped him at 2. So his surprised expression is true.
Reaction.
It's like, oh! So
that's amazing.
Fantastic. Yes. Okay, here we go. Number 1. We're gonna have very different ones. I know.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Mine is what classify the just classic scary villain. Jeez, This took villainy to a new level.
Okay.
Culturally in movies, Darth Vader.
Also missing my list, but yes.
Defined being like a fantasy sci-fi villain, you know, like and before people knew he was Luke's father, he was like the most menacing character in cinema.
He's been proven to be the most noticeable and most aware villain of all time. Everybody kind of knows who Darth Vader is worldwide, so great brand recognition there. For me, my number 1 is Raul Silva, Javier Bardem, Skyfall.
Oh my god, he's terrific.
He just really is. For me, he's that complete mix of smart, capable, and actually kills somebody of worth in that film. So and it's hard to do, but I actually really enjoyed his performance. I thought it was a substantial villain.
Yeah.
And so just completely captivating. Love how he toys with everything. It's just full on. If you have not seen Skyfall, it's better than just a Bond film. It's fantastic.
It's a really good movie in its own right. Like, it's an excellent movie, and he makes it for sure.
Yes. Now, well, that's all of our Give Me 5 segment there. Congratulations. I'm going to go off and get myself a burger in preparation for Game 5 on Thursday.
Burger?
Yeah, Carl's Jr.
Oh, okay, let's go.
Let's go,
yeah. I'm down.
Gary's Treat, all right. In the meantime, he nearly choked on his beer right there.
Oh, my God.
In the meantime, we will prep ourselves not only for the NBA Finals, but also in light of our movie podcasts, we will have to prepare ourselves for the wondrous film
Wonder Woman. I'm excited after these reviews are coming out, man.
Gary, you're getting pulled into the pit.
Pleasantly surprised. Oh. I'm still a little hesitant because it's in the dumb DC cinematic universe, but
normally I go right as soon as the podcast is over. I go at the first chance I get. This is probably going to be as late as I can push it.
Come on, you went and saw Pirates.
And that was all right.
It can't get worse than Pirates.
Oh, Batman versus Superman can get worse than Pirates.
Yeah, I mean, of what's out right now. Come on.
I am not looking forward to Wonder Woman. I am, however, in the following week. War of the Planet of the Apes looks fantastic.
Oh, yes.
But we will suffer through Wonder Woman this week.
We will not suffer. We will triumph.
And I feel as if I must clarify it here as I did to you. It's not because it's a woman. It's not at all that. It's the fact that it is the DC universe that they're trying to create. And it's just been awful film after awful film.
It's been terrible. There has not been a single good film thus far. And apparently this one's different. I get it. Phil's a little bit scared, but I think he's going to be surprised.
So
it's good to be surprised in a movie theater.
Yes. So tune back in next week. We'll give you our full discussion and whether or not I was very right or very right
Phil's
on Wonder Woman.
Be humble, just like Kendrick Lamar said. Be humble.
Be humble. Do Fork chop greens. Do.
I remember chopped greens in the
This has been
Gary Boucher.
And I am Philip Emrine. Thank you so much for listening. As always, stay tuned to Chopped Greens and also keep up to date with Chopped Greens on YouTube. We always are updating our channel. Bye.